grubs, and we were omnivorous and eating many things, and our fish and so on, we had a pretty close ratio, almost 1-to-1, maybe 2 to 5-to-1 of those two types of oils, and things were in balance. In our society now, we got too much of the omega-6. It's so much so that it's like 25-to-1. So guess what the message is to our genes? Inflammation, alarm, because the end products of all of that going on are pro-inflammatory signaling molecules. So what can we do? We teach you how to eat the good oils and then consume the activated EPA-DHA oils that are going to really balance things with anti-inflammatory signaling molecules. So you suddenly will be awash with good stuff that is very pro-healing in its message. So those things are real, they're highly researched, and we would show you how to select the foods to do that. But watch for the box foods. Basically the rule is you stay on the periphery of the grocery store. You're kind of safe there, right? On the outer rim where foods still kind of look like what they are supposed to. Whole foods, right? And you venture into the inner... Yeah, the inner aisles, you jump in for your oil, and a couple things of toilet paper, and that's it. Don't go anywhere. So this is now on the other side. The osteoarthritis is kind of the wear and tear arthritis, but it has overlap with what we're going to talk about here as well. There's no question. It's not just wear and tear and injury and trauma that causes the laying down of calcium into our joint space and wearing off of the lubricating layers, right? It's also overall inflammation. So we deal with the Functional Medicine Research Center. We've got something like 40 PhDs, NDs, and MDs who are working full-time researching. So this is a pretty impressive group working with different Nobel Prize type of groups around the world. So this is no longer just some little folksy herbal thing. This is scientific, but it's science respecting nature, and that's what I really love. Look at this very interesting pattern. Those who have been told they have an autoimmune condition, which of course are rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, of course, and many conditions that overlap, they tend to be more frequent in the female gender. Now, how unfair is that, right? Why is that, one needs to ask. So statistics are very telling. There's something about estrogen and its metabolism and its detoxification in the female body that has a lot to do with inflammation. So what we have now is a confused immune system where we're saying, yeah, something in our environment has definitely changed. And our genes, let's face it, right? We have not changed our genes. We've got millions of years of evolution. And this tiny blip since the Second World War, we're looking 30 to 50 years max, something profound has changed, right? Our genes are the same, but how they're being talked to is very different. They're being signaled differently. So no question, we have something like 65 or 75,000 new chemicals introduced into our environment since the Second World War. Do you think that matters, right? Have safe limits been set for all of them? No. Have they ever been tested in combination with one another? No. So safety limits are never done on the synergistic nastiness of some of these things. You see articles about, water purification, right, in different communities and towns, how concerned they're getting, because guess what? The neighbor who's on chemotherapeutic drugs, guess where that's going, right? Once it goes down the toilet, it's going to the common supply. What about the person on the cholesterol-lowering drugs, and the person on heart medication, and estrogen replacement drugs? All of that cocktail is actually traveling into the common water supply, right, and into the environment. So what do we have? We see the first signs of problems in amphibians, right? So we have frogs being born all female, salamanders being born all female, because they're awash with estrogenic compounds that come from herbicides, pesticides, plastics, and medications. We see the feminization of our society. There's something changing, right? There's something going on. We see the alligators in Florida, hardly any being born male anymore. They're virtually all female. So there's something going on. We're not exempt from that. And of course this then starts to impact on our immune system. So the conference that I just came from 2 weekends ago was extraordinary, and some of the top speakers that monitor, along with the World Health Organization and so on, monitor the data on what's going on with our immune system. They're saying, you know, we are really impacting ourselves. It's not that we have a messed up immune system attacking normal tissue in autoimmunity. It's not that. It's a normal immune system fighting damaged, injured tissue. Wow, what a, just, you know, you get those aha moments. So that's what's going on. And there's a threshold, right? The normal sort of vigilance our immune system has against invaders and faulty or damaged cells, it will self-destruct them. There's a mechanism called apoptosis where our immune system scavenges and looks for, oh, there you go, a cancer cell, virus-infected cell, and so on, and it will destroy them, cause them to self-destruct. But there's a point where it's just too much injury in all the tissue, and now that becomes the target. The immune system says, enough is enough, you're faulty, you're out. And it starts to go after our own tissue, right? So we're seeing a lot of sort of upregulation of our immune system as though there's a war going on. Something that scientists realize is that the gut, which really is a tube that travels through us, right? It's still the outside of the body from there to there, and it's the biggest barrier to the inner world that has to be protected. What's going to be let in? What's going to be pushed out, right? So when there's a problem with that very specialized lining, that whole tube that goes through us, which becomes known as leaky gut syndrome, there are actual leakage holes through which foreign molecules, undigested food, bacterial byproducts, things like that sneak in, and all of a sudden they alert the immune system that there's danger, there's trouble. And then you get this thing called molecular mimicry, where the immune system thinks, hey, that joint tissue looks very similar in its structure to the thing that just entered, that's the big antigen. Oh, I think I'll go after both of them. So it starts to do that. So that leaky gut thing, you see how the antigen migrates, they call it transmigration across that barrier through the leaky gut, right? Different microbes or different byproducts, proteins and so on sneak in, and all of a sudden the immune system becomes hypervigilant, like, oh my goodness, so it bumps up this thymus dependent 1 type of reaction. And now we have signaling that says, hey guys, we're at war. And various things start to increase in the body. So we get these T cells signaling B cells, and the B cells pumping out antigens. And then these antibodies are confused because they look similar to the cartilage, for instance, or other tissue, and we get a cross reaction. So it is our own immune system actually attacking our tissue. But the tissue is changed. Something happened to it as well. It's not healthy tissue. So our program, when I deal with people, we are going to make sure we're not wasting your money. Okay, so it's a very systematic program. We use a very special smoothie blend called Ultra Inflammix, and I provided information for you at the back as well. But Ultra Inflammix is excellent for virtually any inflammatory condition. It's very supportive of your normal body's healing. We don't heal, the body heals, but we provide more optimal conditions. So the Ultra Inflammix program is a very effective way to maybe work with you for 6 to 12 weeks typically. Even 4 weeks you see profound changes. And then notice that we're also helping that gastrointestinal barrier with healthy microbes like yogurt, but much more sort of potent, right? Friendly human strain lactobacilli that we would also provide you. So it all goes into the shake, it tastes good, in it goes. We then try to balance that overactive immune system, and look, those omega-3 fatty acids, those are amazing things. They really rebalance stuff, and again, that friendly bunch of microbes, right, that calms down the immune system inside. We also look at how well are you detoxifying strange substances, including excess estrogen. That thing is a huge trigger. So that's where we're going to look at the indole-3 carbinol family of nutrients. They're compounds found in our broccoli and kale and cauliflower, right? So in real life, you also are taught to eat those things.